Hi, so I'm here with Christina. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your pronouns, your year, your concentration, and where home is for you?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Cristina Santos. I'm a senior in the Education Studies Department. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And did I say I'm from Los Angeles?
Perfect.
From Los Angeles, first gen student.
Okay. So could you tell us about this opportunity that you had? What was your role and in the organization, and just a little bit about your experience in this internship?
Yeah, so it was through the Leadership Alliance. Like they said, you get like matched, or you apply to get matched with different schools, and you like put down three options for like different schools you might want to like do research with. And yeah, it's like I don't know, I would say, I don't really remember the process. I think I had to write like an essay, turn in some letters of rec, and I got matched like at the very end of the spring semester, and I applied like in February. So, what else? So then I actually got to do research at Harvard at the Hugsy. And what was the other question?
Um, but I was just curious, like, to hear more about your experience with Leadership Alliance, and then what kinds of skills and outcomes did you gain through, this research opportunity that you had?
Yeah, so I guess it's really geared towards like students who may want to go to grad school. And I think it really showed me that I'm not ready to go to grad school yet. That was like one of the main takeaways that I look back now and I'm like, I definitely am not ready just because I don't know what I would want to like specialize in or like what my question would be. And it seems like if you want to go to grad school, like you need to have it set in stone that you want to go. If not, it could be a really miserable time if you're like not sure of it. So that was one thing that was like the biggest takeaway I think for me because I was unsure about wanting to go, and it really just like clarified that I'm not ready, which is totally okay. I learned to accept that because there were a lot of people in that program that were ready, and I was like I just can't do it right now. So yeah, that was something I learned. And then yeah, so we I got to do research with Dr. Anthony Jack, and I had a research partner who was also part of the program. And so we were in charge of like creating the late review for one of his newest projects on federal work study. So we just like did a lot of digging and trying to find like how it originated, where it originated, um, which could be a bit complicated because sometimes we would just reach dead ends. Um, but it was really interesting to learn about how even through federal work study, there's always been inequality. And yeah, it's just nothing has ever been equal in education. And it was just shocking to find out and angering to see how even opportunities like federal work study weren't equal and aren't equal still. Um, and then we like presented our research at the Leadership Alliance National Symposium, I think it was called. And yeah, we just like presented either like posters or uh, what's it called, a presentation. And I did a poster because I was working on like a two-part experimental procedure kind of thing. And so yeah, that's what I presented on. And yeah, just overall a lot of tips on grad school and like how to manage your finances and what else. Yeah, we learned about like poster making, resume like workshops, a lot of things that are very beneficial for students who want to go to grad school. And even if I didn't want to go to grad school, like it definitely helped me like solidify my what do you call it, my resume, which was really helpful.
Yeah, that sounds like a very like fruitful opportunity. I guess I'm curious. So, is Leadership Alliance, is that like the greater organization? How, if students were interested in opportunities with Leadership Alliance, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think it's affiliated with Brown because I remember seeing about it probably on like a Brown page. So they're affiliated with a lot of universities, and like I was saying, like you pick like three schools that you might want to research with, and then they either like find faculty for you to work with or you like don't get matched. Um, so it is a little confusing. I would say it's confusing because you don't know. Like there are some schools that only take like 3 or 4 students, and some schools that take like 10 or 20. And it's hard to know where like which schools to pick um, because you don't know if they even have openings. So that was like a bit confusing, and I didn't find that out until once I was in the program. because there were students who had been applying to this program for 3 or 4 years. They had been applying every year and hadn't gotten in until they like switched up their school options. um, yeah, and then even like there were schools that you could match with or you could apply to, and they wouldn't even like have an opening for like that field. So like let's say I submitted something for like Columbia and they didn't have like an opening for education, like I just wouldn't even be considered because there's no opening. So I think that was like, when I look back at that now, it was super confusing. And I don't know, sometimes I think it was just like luck that I picked the right schools. um, but yeah, I feel like if I had more guidance in that, or if people could like answer those questions, it would be a lot helpful. um, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess going off of that, were there other aspects of just like your training or the general application process that you wish you had known before going through the process?
um, well, I feel like the essay portion was kind of like the what is that called, the statement of purpose that you use to apply to grad school. So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of like following that,
Like format,
that process. Yeah,
basically.
yeah, that
Okay.
format. um so it was helpful because then we would go back and like we could technically proofread that and use it if you wanted to apply to grad school. So if that's something people are interested in, like you need to like work hard on that statement, because even if you don't get in, like you at least have that format that you can then use later on to apply to grad school.
Very cool. So now, I guess through this, you sort of were like, oh, I'm not ready for grad school now, but do you think, maybe in a few years, maybe in the future, was that something that this opportunity helped, shape for you?
Yeah, so I think a lot, like a question that came up a lot throughout the program was, is is it better to apply right out of undergrad and like jump in straight through, or can you wait? And I don't know, there's always mixed responses. Some people tell you jump straight through, like the chances are better, and some people tell you like don't jump straight through, like wait a little bit. And um yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I forgot what you said.
Oh, I was just asking, sort of, I know you had mentioned earlier that the internship and research opportunity helped you realize, oh, maybe I'm not ready for grad school right now, but then in a few years, is it still something that you'd be looking to? And it
Oh,
sounds like,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah, it is definitely something I maybe want to look into. I don't really know what I want to do like right after Brown, so I feel like that definitely will shape like what I may want to do in grad school later. But I'm like really interested in higher ed, in like college access. So something along, if I end up doing something along those lines after college, that might be like the area I might want to enter when I start grad school. But I definitely don't feel ready. And like I don't even have a question I would want to ask. So it's just, if you like don't even have that, like it's hard to even want to like narrow your choices down for what schools you want to apply to.
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm also wondering, just with the opportunity, um, are there like just general pieces of advice that you have for other Brown students who would be looking into research and internship opportunities like this one? I know you had mentioned you completed it 2 years ago, so I was assuming is that end of sophomore year that you were going through this
Yeah,
process.
end of sophomore year, yeah.
Okay.
I would suggest that you need to have zero research skills or experience, because I didn't have any research experience. And I was afraid that that would like put me at a disadvantage. But really, this program is really just trying to get you to like open up to the thought of research and kind of put it in your mind and, just experience that. Um, so I definitely struggled a little bit, but it was, I don't know, like I did learn a lot about like lit review and like reading more efficiently and like going through the archives and really trying to learn how to use that. Um, so yeah, I would just say like you don't need to have any research experience to apply to this program. And yeah, you're just gonna meet a lot of great people, a lot of great mentors that will help you through the process, even when you feel confused.
Awesome. And I guess, is there anything else about your opportunity with Leadership Alliance that you want to share?
Um, yeah, it was a great program. I definitely would encourage everyone to apply and to start looking at it early. I think the application closes in February. So this is something maybe people want to start looking over like during break. Um, just to, because it is kind of, I feel like it's kind of early to apply for it. But if anyone needs like any tips, like I can definitely look over like the letters, the statements of purpose essay thingy. And yeah.
Perfect. So they can email you at Cristina_Santos at
Yeah.
brown.edu. Awesome. And then I guess my last question is just, so your official title would have been a research assistant, or what was your, yeah,
Yeah, I guess research assistant would have been it.
cool. Thank you so much, Christina.
Yeah, for sure.